So, these are both new players to the PuniEsports tournament. Over here, we've got Onno, and then over here is RedstoneYT. So, immediately looking at their strats, we've got, on Onno's side, I guess, first, the Enslaved Miners, Bombers, which is always an interesting strategy, the Eclipsers, the Speartons, Haste, Rage, and then, of course, gain gold when an enemy dies, and after cast a spell, spawn a dead of your army's front line. So we have two cheap spells here. We've seen this strategy many times before. Center control has already been taken by Onno, and it looks like a dead is spawned from the use of Haste over here. And using Bombers to kind of protect the middle. Over on this side, we have just two Miners and an Eclipser being the first buy, but two Miners on the way. We also have unit control, which is interesting. The Bombers come in and try to do some early damage to the Miners and pretty successfully do so. But we do have an undead archer kind of protecting the statue a little bit. Definitely going to take a little bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to be too notable. In fact, I would probably set out... Yeah, there we go. Here comes the infantry with 4 Miners now ready to go. However, we've got 5 Miners over here with well more on the way. Onno's doing a good job of keeping up the economy, especially with using Haste, boosting things up there. We still have 2 Bombers at the middle point, and some undeads fighting each other. We do have the spawn at undead over on RedstoneYT's deck as well. Oh my gosh, that Bomber doing massive amounts of damage. No Juggernauts in sight yet. Pressure is still being put on Redstone. Just little pecks of health being done here and there, which is what Bombers are really good at. Eclipser now joins the middle to help protect, as well as a Spearton, making this middle point going to be very difficult for Redstone to actually overcome, as Redstone does not have the kind of melee forces to deal with that right now, except we do have a Juggernaut coming out right now. Maybe a little bit too late, but a Juggernaut is here nonetheless. And we got Onno kind of scouting the scene, trying to get some sneaky damage, probably on the Miners, avoiding the Juggernaut. And that could have been worse. That could have been more Miners caught in that fray, but Redstone was able to quickly player control the Juggernaut to stop that from happening. Over on this side, we've got just 2 more Speartons building up. This is a good strategy of keeping pressure. Oh, but we've got poison acid spray coming from the middle, and I guess Onno's just going to try to keep these people here while the other 2 run, which is an interesting strategy for sure. I guess the Bombers' health really don't matter that much. Oh, and they got some rage as they're going in quickly, but getting shot down by the Eclipsers. Still managing to deal some damage to one of the Miners. This constant pressure that Onno is applying is going to make it very difficult for Redstone to actually push, right? Even if it's just a mental thing. Having constant pressure on you makes it feel like you can't push forward, even when sometimes you can. But it looks like Redstone feels like they can. Never mind, it was the Jukes. They're only sending the dead probably to inspect the army, which is looking pretty nasty with 5 Eclipsers and it looks like 4 Speartons taking the charge. And they're just going full in. They're going in for the fight. We got a retreat going on. Going to rely on some poisonous undead archers. And they're backing up, which is interesting. I feel like they could have stayed there a little bit longer. The undeads are being spawned, but it's not doing much. But we got them going in for another pressure push. Onno's got Redstone's got a decent amount of Juggernauts at least to protect some of this, and it looks like those poison arrows are actually doing a lot of damage, taking out those Speartons' healths pretty quickly. But ultimately, the unit count just looks like it's on Uno's side right now. With 101 units out of 100. I don't even know how that makes sense. Now the Speartons have retaked control. Ooh, applying a lot of damage to the statue early on. But the Juggernaut's coming out to try to chase them away a little bit. The thing is that the Juggernauts are pretty dang strong, and they're combined with the poisonous arrows of the Eclipsers. They are taking out those Speartons if they stay too long. But look at that army of Eclipsers over there compared to the army over here. We got 2 Eclipsers compared to the many. And it looks like about... what is it, 7 miners over here. And it looks like they both capped around 7. Actually, there's 8 over here. Oh, we got these guys going into retreat, probably to regain some health. Not a bad idea, while still leaving 2 here. But an acid rain is coming down once again. Not very helpful at all for those Spiritans. Those Eclipsers just trying to fight off some of these undead spawning. Nothing too bad, though. That's interesting. So toxic range units are enabled on here, which allows the toxic range to appear over here in the offskirts. But Redstone's going with the strategy of not actually buying any, which is very interesting. Spiritans have healed up a little bit, not that much, but at least their poison has gone away. That's probably the main purpose of sending them back. And of course, the tower is going to be healing over here. Yeah, things are still not looking great for Redstone. I think they've done a good job at defending when these random strikes have happened, but ultimately not having control of the tower for so long and being subject to heavy pressure throughout the entire match is gonna cost them. We got some acid rain coming in, but it doesn't matter so much because the charge has already been made. Of course, some of those Eclipsers in the back are still getting hit, which is probably in Redstone's favor. And the health of those Spartans are going down quick, but just ultimately there's just more of them than there are of the Juggernauts. And the Juggernauts are going down too. That is a massive, massive battle. In a real-life situation, this would be considered something where nobody wins because there was a lot of death there. But in Stick War, that was definitely in Onno's favor, as the entire army of Redstone has been destroyed. And I don't think they're going to be able to stand around much longer, but those undead, the toxic undeads are just pelting those Spiritans, doing massive amounts of damage. And the entire Spiritan army was pretty much blown there, except we've already got some more on the way, so I guess maybe not the entire army. Yeah, that Spiritan was just sent to decrease a unit count. But look at that, already more Spartans. They're just so quick at creating these Spartans. And Onno's already got more units lined up as soon as people are available. The recovery process over here is going to be pretty tough, though. Yeah, I think Redstone sees that they just got to push in at some point. With the acid rain coming down to hopefully help. Lots of poison going on in Redstone's arsenal. The Eclipsers are now... there's a manual control Eclipser trying to take out the other Eclipsers. Probably not a bad idea, because that seems to be doing the most damage to these Spiritans. But those Juggernauts are not going to survive long enough, I don't think. I think the Spiritans are just barely going to outlive those Juggernauts. Yeah, look at that. Everyone's hurt, but the Juggernauts are not surviving that long. Eclipser's still pulling some pop shots. One undead archer there who got destroyed. And we have another retreat. But ultimately, yeah, those Spiritans were just too weak. But I don't know, being at the front doorstep, no economy is going on for Redstone right now. And of course, just units like crazy being bought on Onno's side. And we got that electricity middle strike, which the commenters have told me what that is. Thank you. And that's going to do it for Redstone. Not a bad defensive push for the end there, but ultimately, Onno just had that constant pressure and also control of middle through this entire time. So congrats to Onno for making it to the next round.